back to DanceGeek's Halloween week. Today's video is going to be a makeup tutorial. Not on this look that I have on now. This is not particularly Halloween-ish. This is my stage makeup. What we're going to be doing today is a spooky, evil stage makeup. It's quite generic. I got the idea to do it as a generic Halloween evil thing from the fabulous Robert Walsh. And I'll link his video below because he actually has a lot of really good tips in that video for doing this style of makeup. And his is a very generic. You could put a witch hat on and be a witch. You could put a cape on and some fangs and you'd be a vampire. That kind of thing with the same makeup. This video will be talking more so about the techniques for stage rather than the technique for video like we're doing now and the techniques for in-person makeup. Those three things are very different, okay? So if you're doing makeup so that you can go to a Halloween party, the techniques are going to be different to if you're doing that for a video, a movie. So we're focusing on stage today. And the reason I've got my stage makeup on, my standard stage makeup on, is because most of the time when dancers are doing this sort of makeup, we're not talking professional shows where that makeup is what you're using for the whole show. We're talking quick change from this, because you might have your classical solo, right? And then you've got to do a dark contemporary that you need a bit of darkish makeup for. And then you've got to go from that contemporary back into your standard makeup to do your jazz troupe or something. This can happen at comps, but it can also happen at your end of year concert or your recitals. And I feel like a lot of people steer away from then doing any kind of fantasy special effects makeup because it's just too hard. And I totally agree. If it is too hard and too intimidating, don't do it. The makeup should enhance your performance as a dancer. It shouldn't be the absolute be all and end all. You should be able to be a cat on stage without having to show whiskers for everyone to go, oh, okay, right, she's a cat. So I'm going to show you today how to put the makeup on and how to take it off and go back to this sort of stage face. My number one tip is practice. You don't just learn a routine once, go on stage. You practice the routine. So practice the makeup. Practice how you're going to apply it. Practice, practice, practice. You just need to practice it enough so that when you come to doing it on performance day, there's less stress around it. My second tip, preparation. Now, because I know what makeup I'm going to be putting on top of this stage makeup, what I did today in preparation for doing that was I actually changed the color that I use in the browns. I actually would normally go for a warmer tone, and I'd probably put more brown on. But because I knew I was going to be putting some purple and black tones on, I didn't want to have a color underneath that fought with that. I didn't want warm tones underneath because I'm putting cool tones on. So, to explain that a bit more to you, this palette, by the way, I feel is essential for dancers. It's actually created by Alyssa Edwards, who is a dance teacher. She is the dancing queen. Watch her show on Netflix. She's a drag queen. She did a collab with ABH, Anastasia Beverly Hills. Their eyeshadows are really good. And this palette, you look at it and you automatically focus on these colors in the middle and they're like, bam, colors. But look at these ones. Matte browns, shimmer, matte white, dark brown, matte black. Then the colors in the middle are have fun with colors. You've got 6 colors in here to create the perfect stage makeup. The other part of preparation is making sure you've got good products that work well. You don't want to have to build up pigment, and you don't want to have to spend heaps of time blending out, okay? So you need shadows that are going to get the job done. This is a great palette for that because the pigment in the palette, in the colors, is really spot on. So when you put it on, it's going to be that color. Black is great. Love that black. Yeah, so I think this is an incredibly versatile palette for dancers to use. She's never said that she created it for dancers, but I kind of feel like she did. I feel like she created it so that her students would actually be able to use it. It's awesome. Another really great brand, Juvia's Place are so easy to work with because they are highly pigmented, like even more so than this, made by and specifically made for women of colour or people of colour. So if you are watching this and you have a deeper skin tone, then I would go straight for Juvia's Place. These are also incredibly affordable. These palettes, Juvia's Place is beyond affordable. If you know you're going to have to use 3 palettes or 1 palette and 2 single shadows, have them ready to go. You don't want to be sitting there going, which one shall I use today? Go, please. So on the preparation front, we're going to move the camera. This is me preparing. So this will get me into my character makeup and back out of my character makeup. So if you're going to do a quick change into a different costume, you'd have everything laid out ready to go. You'd have it there, bam, go, put it on. Do the same thing with your makeup. My third tip is prioritize. When I say priorities, what I mean is, if you're doing your makeup and someone says, you've got to be on stage now, would you be passable? So the first thing you do needs to be the most important thing for you. For your face, it's going to be very different for someone else's face. As an example, the priority for me is brows, because my brows are incredibly pale, and I only have brow hair from here to here. The rest of it, I shave off. I have my reasons. So if I don't do brows, if I don't draw my brows in, when I go on stage, I don't have brows, okay? But when we're talking quick changes, we're talking priorities. What do you have to get rid of first, or what do you have to add first? Then you need to work out what are the priorities in the look that you're going for. I'm gonna say something that I never say, but we're going to be using Dance Mums as our inspo for this. Yeah, I know, Claire Haywood, DanceGeek just said we are actually going to take something from Dance Mums because they got this right. I don't think Abby had anything to do with this, which is probably why I like it. But anyway, when Maddie did her Lizzie Borden dance, the makeup on this was really good. They could have gone heavier in it. So here's the picture. They could have gone heavier in this, but it's a really good stage makeup for an evil character. What I often see as an adjudicator when it comes to evil character makeup is this kind of thing, where you chuck a lot of black around the eye. That's the easy option. And then you put a black lip on. But the problem with that is this is going to be quite tricky to remove. And it's also not really giving any kind of enhancement. You won't see the eyes of the dancer. The reason I like the Maddie one is because when you're going for an evil character, think about what facial features can help to make that character evil. I have been cast as a villain a lot. And it's because my face is long, I have sharp cheekbones, big expressive eyes. Whenever I'm doing something that requires the dancers to be a bit more evil, I always say to them, the easiest way to be evil if you can't feel it is to lengthen the neck, drop the chin, lift the eyes. You're evil. When you make this face, see where the shadows are. So what we're going to do in our prioritizing the makeup look is we're going to prioritize shadow and light. We're going to prioritize bone structure. They're the 3 things we're going to prioritize. And when you think about prioritizing those 3 things, this standard black around the eyes doesn't really work. You still want to see the face of the dancer. And your eyes and eyebrows are very expressive. We carry a lot of our expression there. Putting a whole bunch of black around your eyes, I can't see your features. So your 3 P's for stage makeup: quick change, practice, preparation, prioritize. All right, so let's get into the makeup. What we're going to do is intensify from the brow down here, and we're also going to intensify our contour here. We're going to give the brow a more peak, sharp, lifted look here, and we're going to darken and sharpen the lip. So for most of that, what I'm going to be using is down here in the ABH palette, the Alyssa Edwards palette, we're using Beast.
Beast!
I'm going to use that black and I'm going straight into my contour. Start high. Before you do it, visualize the line you want to create. So I've done a straight line down. We'll start at the edge of the where you want it to be. You could start it up here if you want, lower, just depends on your face shape. And down. Now I'm going down to roughly where my cheekbone kind of ends, which is roughly in the middle of your eye. Then what I'm going to do, because we want to make this look a bit skeletal and severe in the face, okay, you're going down, then you're going down that way. And often doing this part to make all of this mouth area look a bit more. When you do it, you might want to do it facing the front, like literally head on, rather than going to the side like this. And you don't need a lot of shadow or a lot of product for that part. Switch over to a big fluffy brush and I'm blending. So up close, crazy, weird, doesn't look right. Moving back a little bit, you can already see it's got a lot more depth. That's our darkness in the cheekbone. Wherever you put a shadow, you want to give it some lightness, because the lightness will lift and it will make that shadow look even darker. I'm using jumbo pencil. This is in Milk. It's white, so good, from NYX. They're about $10 Australian. I'm gonna do a line of white here and a lighter line of white here. Now this is a creamy texture, this one, and I flipping love creams because you can just use your fingers to blend out. I find I get a lot more control when I use my fingers to blend things or to apply things. So 9 times out of 10, I will prefer to use cream product. So if you now look, I'm looking straight on at the light, you can see the difference on this side to this side. This one looks higher. You can also do that highlighting on your jaw. In our priorities list on my face, I wouldn't worry too much about putting the white on the jaw. I'm going to do a line from between my brows down my nose, getting that as straight as I possibly can. Now I'm barely going to blend this out at all. I'm blending this bit a bit more because that part of your eyes is a bit wider. But as far as the actual nose part goes, I am just going to tap on top of it. And that's all the blending I'm going to do. I am then going to go back in with my flat brush that I used to do my contour with. And I'm going to go into that black. This is going to look crazy to start with. Well, the whole thing is crazy, but that's the whole point, isn't it? I'm going to go from the brow here down the side of my nose. Then I'm going to use what's left on that product and blend that into my brow. Now the good thing about this flat brush, these flat brushes are really good to do brows. This is great for a black swan type look because it gives you or a bird, it gives you that beak-like appearance. So what we're going to do to blend this out, I'm actually just going to use my finger to be honest. You want to blend it out in towards your eye. Blending that in towards here makes it look like a nose, not a beak. I'm now going in with a black pencil liner. I use Rimmel's liners. We're going to look down. We're going to take this up triangle, or down. Fill that in. Hello, look at that! How evil am I? Not even done well. It's not even finished. As far as priorities of taking this off, personally, I'd go straight to the brow because this is probably the most severe part of the look. So you'd want to get rid of that first. Tip for matching the arch, the point of your eyebrow. Do one of them on the side that's the easiest. Do that first, do the full brow, right? Then go on the other side, find where the peak is, and start there. Now I know I said I did to do a triangle. What I'm actually doing is going from my own brow and doing a slight curve down and up. That's what gives it sort of flows with the natural face shape. So even though these are harsh, sharp lines, we still want them to be person-like. We're going to go in, give ourselves some shadow now, some light. Now this white is not a huge problem if you don't get the white off before your next dance. Doesn't matter, because white under the brow is so good for like just enhancing the eye. As I'm doing this with a lid in my mouth, I'm kind of thinking, you know what, I would have done the white first. That's a practice thing. I'm only taking the white to about the halfway point of my eyeball, which is not the halfway point of the brow. Roughly where my pupil is. Under the brow. Again, we're going to step back. This is another step back, have a look, what's working, what's not. I'm going to take some black on my flat brush again, same brush, and I'm going to go in here and I'm going to make this darker. Using a finger, go into a purplish, bruisey kind of colour, and we're just darkening up the under eye bags, or giving yourself bags. Now using the same flat edge brush as before, I'm just going in with no extra product and blending the black into that purple under the eyes, kind of like you would with an under eye eyeliner, but just sort of spreading and blending any existing pigment that's on the brush and on my eye. Next, I'm darkening up the outer part of my crease with either a dark brown, or you could use the same black that you used before. It's just going to depend on what look you want to achieve on the outer eye. If you need to lift and open the eye shape more, then I would highly recommend going in with a darker colour than what I'm using here. But I just went in with the dark brown from the Alyssa Edwards palette. If you have the time, go back into that cheek contour and blend it out a bit using the same flat-edged brush, sorry. But this isn't absolutely necessary on stage. If you don't have the time, don't worry about blending this out. It's going to still give you that sharp, defined, high cheekbone. Blending it out just makes this a lot more realistic, but it's on your priorities list. Don't put it up the top. So we've done eyes, we've done contour. We're now going to do what will probably make the biggest impact to finish this look off. I have my glasses on, I can't see. I use NYX Liquid Suede lipsticks for my stage makeup, and I use it every day a lot as well. They're really easy to work with. They give a good colour payoff, all of that, so I like them. This one that I've got on is Kitten Heels, and I'm going to put it on, which is colour 20, I think. I'm going to put that over the top. It comes out sort of blackish purple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my same black eyeliner I used for my brows and everything, and I'm going to get my sharpener. My sharpener was with my prep, I always, whenever you're working with pencils, when the pencil is sharp, it's easiest. I'm going to sharpen it, and I would still do this as a priority if I was in a quick change. A sharp tip, so much easier to work with. I want to show you another trick. If you want to make this look a little bit more evil grin, take your black liner, go into this, go to your bottom lip line, and give yourself a little bit of a Joker smile. Look at the difference. And then you just curve the top one to meet it. Very similar to doing a winged eyeliner. Look at my heat rash. Now we're going to take it off. Priorities when taking the makeup off. If you've got to go into another makeup look, you want to retain as much of the base that you started with that makeup as possible. Anything that you can use from this look, use it. So the things that are not going to work, brows. But I'm not taking my whole brow off. I'm going to take off from here to here. This part of the shadow contour, I'm going to get rid of that. I'm not going to worry too much about the cheek, but the way that you get rid of it is really important. You could use makeup wipes, but you will never see me on this channel using makeup wipes because they are very bad for your skin and they are bad for the environment. So they have no place in my life. I use micellar water with oil. The oil is the key ingredient here. I also use these homemade reusable wipes. If you were to take this eyebrow off and just wipe and go like that, see how I've just spread it all up onto my face and blah, blah, blah. I've created extra problems and extra work, and we don't want to do that. I don't want to have to redo all of that makeup up there. So what I'm going to do is I'm putting it around my finger, and then I'm going hold for 1 second on the brow and off. On the brow and off. Then I'm going to use the dry part of it and wipe. And I'm just going to very quickly dab some foundation where I removed it. And my brow's back on. Is it perfect? No. Does it matter? No. In true Halloween spirits, this part of audio on the original clip was completely possessed. It was so bizarre. So I'm going to do voiceover. When you're removing your lips, wipe inwards, like I'm doing here, not outwards, because that's going to smear everything. Wipe in, cover it with foundation if you need, just to smooth out the lines, reapply your lipstick, and the lips are done. And here I'm just taking out certain areas where the contour, the black contour was just too much. Don't take off that whole area, just certain areas. And the next trick, get a really good high coverage concealer. I'm using Tarte Shape Tape. It's wonderful. I put the concealer straight over this black contour in my cheek to dull it down a little bit. I didn't remove that contour because I still need contour. This just made it a bit more natural. So you don't always have to remove makeup. Is this perfect to go on stage? No, it's not perfect at all. But is it passable to go on stage? Is it okay? All right? Absolutely. Cool. So the priorities is super important in redoing your makeup. I've got a bit of time, so I'm going to put bronzer. And now I have a, not perfect, but definitely passable to get back on stage. The hero product there is the micellar with oil, probably followed by good quality products in general, but the Tarte Shape Tape. Thank you for watching today's video. If you do use this look in any way, or even some of these tips, yeah, please tag me because I'd love to see your version of this. You know, you could always just tag me in things in general. Just saying. I just like seeing you dance. Have a very happy Halloween, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.